Hello Internet, and welcome to the PDH portal where I discuss PDH decks. I think we can all agree that Spider-Man will go down in Magic history as a set. For all of my issues with the overall set in terms of weirdness or design, there are a handful of nice Pauper Commanders. One that I have been brewing with for the last few weeks has been Green Goblin Revenant, a nice little discard matters commander in Rakdos. I call it the Mad Green Goblin. Green Goblin Revenant is a goblin human villain for 3 in Rakdos that says, Flying Death Touch, whenever Green Goblin attacks, discard a card, then draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. Thankfully, it does not care about Mayhem, the new ability from the Spider-Man set, that is like a worse Madness. What's the difference? Madness is a keyword ability that you can use when a card is discarded for any reason, while Mayhem is a keyword ability for a card in your graveyard, but you can only activate it if it was discarded this turn, and timing rules still apply. Why does this matter? Take Electro's Bolt, for example. It's a sorcery for 2 and a red that allows you to deal 4 damage to a target creature. Its Mayhem cost is 1 and a red. To cast it for its Mayhem cost, you'll need to find a way to discard it. Then once it's in your graveyard, you can only cast it that turn at sorcery speed. Contrast this to Alms of the Vein. This is also a sorcery, but it's 2 for a black that deals 3 damage to an opponent and you'll gain 3 life. Its Madness cost, however, is a single black mana. Madness happens at instant speed because you cast it during the discarding of a card. With something like Fodder Tosser, which has an ability that can be activated at instant speed, you discard Alms of the Vein using Fodder Tosser's ability, meaning it happens at instant speed. You pay the Madness cost as the card is being discarded, and then the sorcery card now happens at instant speed. Discarding cards becomes the main feature of this deck. We can take advantage of things like Madness, Cycling, and on-demand discard to gain additional value throughout our game. Since Green Goblin cares about cards being discarded, we want to make sure that we can find plenty of ways to do this. While the Green Goblin can do this himself, we would really prefer it if we could throw cards away before we get to his attack step. Thankfully, Magic does have plenty of ways for us to discard things almost at will. One of the best ways is to use blood tokens. These are tokens that cost 1 generic mana and require you discarding a card as part of its cost, and it allows you to draw a card. We can fill the deck with a variety of ways to generate blood tokens so that we can stockpile discards for when we're ready. Cards like Blood Servitor, Blood-Crazed Socialite, Gluttonous Guest, and Voldaren Epicure all create blood tokens when they enter. Belligerent Guest and Ceremonial Knife give us a repeatable way to create blood tokens, as it will generate them when we damage an opponent. Blood Petal Celebrant will generate one when it dies. Bloody Betrayal and Point of Discussion give us a few ways to make blood tokens as well as gain other effects, like pumping our creatures or drawing us some additional cards. Many of these cards have a fairly low mana cost, so we can get them out while we try and ramp up to the Green Goblin, and we can stockpile these tokens in the meantime. Now that we have an easy way to discard cards, we want to take advantage of this outside of just refilling our hand with Green Goblin. There are a handful of useful cards with Madness that will allow us to cast them at this lower cost. Alchemist Greeting can deal 4 damage to a target for 1 and a red instead of its normal 4 and a red. Alms of the Vein, which we've talked about already, hits an opponent for 3 life and gains you 3 life for a single black. Fiery Temper will deal 3 damage to any target for 1 red mana. Blood Mad Vampire lets us flash in a 4/1 creature onto the field for 1 and a red, and it gets bigger as it deals damage to a player. Brain Gorgers is another heavy hitter that is a 4/2 zombie that we can flash in for 1 and a black, though an opponent can sacrifice their own creature to stop this. Gorgon Recluse is a 2/4 with almost Death Touch for 2 and a black that can flash in and block something for us. Reckless Worm is a 4/4 that can be cast for a Madness cost of 2 and a red and has Trample. Worst case, if anybody stops any of these creatures from entering or finds a way to get rid of them, we can use Call to the Netherworld, which has a Madness cost of 0, to return a black creature to our hand. Speaking of getting rid of creatures, Dark Withering destroys a non-black creature for a single black mana, Murderous Compulsion destroys a tapped creature for 1 and a black, and jumps from sorcery speed to instant thanks to Madness. This Temper of Blood turns into a nice combat trick for single red mana, pumping a creature for +2/+2 and giving it trample until end of turn. Senseless Rage can enchant a creature to give it +2/+2 for 1 and a red, and Terminal Agony can just outright destroy any creature for a red and a black. Hell Mongrel, however, is the star of the show. It's a 4/3 Nightmare Dog that can be cast for a madness cost of 2 and a black, and gives us a repeatable discard outlet that pumps itself for 1+1/+1. One of our goals is to get him out as quickly as possible. Blood tokens are a great way to pitch specific cards to cast them with madness, but we can also take advantage of cycling to give us a way to filter through our hand to get potentially better cards. While we only have 2 colors, we do run some lands with cycling just for the discard effects. Ash Barrens, Barrenmoor, and Desert of the Fervent are just a few of the lands that we can use either to pitch or as part of the discard to fetch more cards. Most of the cards that we have with cycling also have some other sort of secondary effect that triggers when we cycle them. Dirge of the Dread can give a target creature fear until the end of turn, Make an Altarist can deal 1 damage to each opponent, and Quakevook Cyclops can make a creature not block this turn. Troll of Khazad Doom is also here for swamp cycling, but it's also a big brute that is a 6/5 that can't be blocked by less than 3 creatures. If we pitch him early, we can also use things like Aid the Fallen or Call of the Netherworld to bring him back once we have enough mana to cast him. Rakdos is not really known for heavy ramping like with other colors, and with a 5-color commander, we want to try to get up and running as quickly as possible. To help with this, we run a variety of mana rocks and treasure generators to try and get the Green Goblin out. Decanter of Endless Water is a nice addition as it generates a mana of any color, which can help with fixing, but it also allows us to not worry about hand size. As we try and draw cards, we can be more selective about what cards we need to pitch. Red is usually pretty good at making treasures, so we lean into that a bit. Gold Pan, Impulsive Pilfer, Prying Blade, and Young Red Dragon all generated some treasure. Everflowing Chalice is nice since for 2 mana it acts like a normal mana rock, but if we can manage to cast it later in the game, we can trade some of those treasures to make them a little bit more permanent. I did a skew using things like Dark Ritual or Cabal Ritual. These generate mana in bursts that disappear right away, and I would rather have rocks that can stick around to bring our commander out later, because I'm sure he's probably going to be taken out at some point. Green Goblin Revenant is a nice commander that lets us choose what we want to do as we filter through our cards. With a 100-card format like Commander, he can really shine as we can filter through our library faster than normal. He also has a variety of ways that can be built, so you can augment him in a few different ways, such as going with heavier discard strategies or more recursion, leading to a variety of ways to play if this specific version doesn't fit your need. I know I've had fun with it, and hopefully you do too. Now, I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this deck. If you're interested in viewing the deck list in full, I have a link to it on the PDH portal website in the video description. And if you have any other interesting ideas for decks, please leave them in the comments, and make sure to check out the website at thepdhportal.com. As always, goodbye, Internet. Hello again, Internet. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. And if you have not already, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? The button's right there below the video. It greatly helps the channel, and it lets you know when new videos are posted. Since you're here, why don't you check out another video? One is suggested here for you, so go ahead and click on it. But no matter what you do, thanks for watching. Goodbye, Internet!